Hey, howdy y'all. You probably know what to do by now. It's called Let's see what we can do. Muy bien, y tú? And Jeff, howdy sir. Okay, just in case y'all are wondering about the title on this one, remember, Steve and Kathy are going to not be there, and of course, because Steve and Kathy are going to not be there, John has agreed to fill in. So with John going to be there, this is the ALLmost Briared up tailgate. Just in case anybody was confused. But it's good. It's good. How are y'all today? That is good to hear, Jose. That is very good to hear. All right. It's a little warm here in the Houston area. No big deal. It's roughly noon. Uh-oh. Got me on the big screen. Good Lord. Remember, when your eyes start bleeding, look away. Look away. I definitely have the face for two cans and a string. I wouldn't even say radio. It's more like two cans and a string. Best thing going for me is distance. Seems like the farther away from me you can get, the better off you're going to be. Through the PS4, that's right. James Stumbo does that a lot. Like an awful lot. Not so much that awful is the correct terminology, but he does it a lot. Or maybe his is the PS5. Hell, I don't know. I don't have a PS. I had a PS2 way back in the day, right after they were looking at going to the PS3, when they started selling PS2 for real cheap. Of course, I was also living on my own, and I did not have cable, but I had internet, and there weren't as many streaming services as there are now. So the PS2 could play DVDs, and that gave me a way to watch movies and play a few video games. And it was cheaper than buying a DVD player that only played movies. It's like, okay, I'm only trying to do it so I can play movies, just to have some sound while I'm doing my work. tell you, I'm not really trying to be all big about it. I just never really was a big TV fan. Sports, on the other hand, shoot, I would watch sports all day long if they could. But to make sure to keep from only watching sports, I didn't have cable, so I just ran my little TV through a yeah, the PS4 plays DVD and Blu-ray. But they made a PS2 that played just regular DVDs just before the PS3 came out, and they priced it for like $100. And just a regular DVD player at the time was like $125 at Walmart, 2 aisles over. And I was like, I can get this for $100 and I can get that for $125. One does twice as much and one only does one thing. Well, the hell with that. I'm going to take the one that does more for cheaper. I think I had like 3 games. And they were all cheap. Hey, what can I tell you? I wasn't at home a lot. So a lot of people always said, well, why don't you have cable at the house? I was like, there's times where I'm gone for 2 weeks of a month. Howdy, Ganji. How great to see you, sir. But yeah, I mean, if you're not at home for a majority of the time that you're actually at work, what's the purpose of having cable? As long as you got internet, you can do your work. There's nothing to say past that, right? When I wanted sports, I would go to a place called Buffalo Wild Wings because there was one real close to the house. Well, apartment. It was just a little bitty 1-bedroom apartment. Cheap. $600 a month. Nothing. I one time walked out of the apartment, locked it up, of course, and did not go back inside the apartment for 3 months. I would have had to still paid the cable bill, but I didn't have a cable bill. And because the location was close enough to a college, the apartment had Wi-Fi that they were charging everybody for anyways, included with your money, so you could get on the apartment Wi-Fi. So it was a done deal. Oh, there were plenty of people that had cable and satellite dish and this, that, the other. When I walked in and started talking to the lady about getting the apartment, she was like, I don't know if these are for you. We've had a lot of problem with single guys getting loud and rowdy, and we like to keep things quiet here. And a lot of our residents are here for this college, and they like to keep things quiet so they can get their studying done. And I told her, I doubt you will ever hear my television. because my television was set up to be a monitor, little 32-inch, not that big. When I would listen to anything on the television, it was just to have some background noise. Or if I really wanted to listen to it, I'd put the headphones in. Because it was set up as a monitor, there was a headphone jack right there. Just plug it in, put the headphones on, you were great. She gave me this apartment, great apartment by the way, in Weatherford, Texas. Just in case anybody's looking for it. Chances of you finding that particular apartment pretty slim. So she gave me this apartment that was right next to an older gentleman that had been there for forever. And she said, well, this guy has always complained about everybody having a lot of noise and leaving trash out and this, that, the other. I had my stuff there for about 8 months before I ever actually saw him. And he said, I thought the apartment was empty. There's never a light on. I never hear the door opening and closing. There's never a TV going. The radio's not going. I said, perfect. Nobody knows I'm here, and that's the way I like it. He just laughed and he says, man, you're the best neighbor I've ever had. I'll keep it that way. And then he went and told the apartment complex that same thing. He's like, I never even knew the guy was there. They dropped $50 off of my rent for the next month. It's pretty awesome. When you come to think of it, I mean, not that $600 a month is all that much, but $550 is better than $6. I mean, I had a small little charcoal grill. I'd take it outside. Burning paperwork that had client information that had to be destroyed in some way, shape, or form was a lot faster than shredding it. And I also had some bags of charcoal so that I could do a little light grilling, you know, pork chops, steaks, burgers, nothing major. Just major league, super cheap bachelor pad life. When I wanted a pipe or a cigar, I could go. There was a place over there in Weatherford where you can get a decent cigar. I'd go over there. If I wanted something to eat, for the most part, because real weird schedule. I could be scheduled to be at home or working from the house for 2 straight weeks. And 3 days into that, they could say, hey, you need to be in Arkansas. So buying groceries for more than 1 or 2 days at a time, it never happened. I threw away, actually, more groceries than I consumed at that house. Pretty sad. I was there for 2 years. Quite literally, I figured out that it was cheaper for me to go ahead and eat at the Waffle House. I could wake up in the morning early, go hit the Waffle House, get breakfast, be on the freeway, get done with what I need to get done with, come home, do some paperwork, shower, go get dinner, probably at the Waffle House. Unless it was Buffalo Wild Wings, like I said. Now, if it was a sporting event that I really wanted to watch, I was going to be at the Buffalo Wild Wings because they have all those TVs. Howdy, Scott. Great to see you, sir. Now, y'all remember, I am not normally scheduled for this time slot. But right after me should be John from All Briared Up. Of course, that again explains the name of this particular stream. And John is filling in for Steve and Miss Kathy. So we might also have Mabu along with Abu. I was lucky enough to catch up with his live stream, his normal live stream last night. That was a good time. Had a nice cigar, kicked back, relaxed, talked about blending and pipes. In case y'all are wondering, yes, Ganji is making antler pipes. Last I heard, he's smoked about 18 bowls through the one he's already made, and it's going pretty good for him. So there's some reason you might want to check out Ganji's channel. Well, Scott, it's not really name dropping when you consider that I'm tailgating. Now, tailgating is the show before the show. Oh, on bowl 19 with a cup of coffee. Yeah, that was like 19 days in for this particular corn cob. Oh, time to put another coat of the wood glue on. It peels off from time to time. That's all that is, wood glue. I coat them down with wood glue just because it keeps the little pieces inside glued in nice and tight. No problem, Scott. I'm just saying. Yeah, the name drop thing is not really name dropping. I'm just trying to make sure that people know Steve and Kathy are not going to be on, but John will be. Huva Ilta, Boris. Great to see you, sir. Surprisingly, for those of y'all who haven't been paying attention, Boris slept at night the other day. So y'all might want to go ahead and get your end of the world preparations ready, because that never happens. Ever. Never, ever happens. So we're all a little worried. The end times are nigh. Boris sleeping at night. Scary stuff. No, Scott. Boris says that he slept. I'm not going to call him a liar. Nor will I call him a musical instrument. I will smoke anything Latakia that he doesn't want, but that's because I like Latakia. Wait, hard crackers? Howdy, Ron. How you doing, sir? In case y'all don't understand the hard crackers reference, that is a Skip thing. I like Skip. I like skipping stuff. I was busy yesterday, or I'd have been there on their show too. As y'all tend to know, when Holly says that it's Holly time, I go do what Holly the freak says I'm supposed to be doing because, well, right now she's mostly paying the bills. And while this pandemic is going, and I don't want to be dragging COVID home to keep from having to sleep outside in the truck, I obviously have not been looking for a job. But that's because, like I said, I don't want to be dragging the COVID home to Holly and her mom. It's just, it's about doing what's right for the family instead of what's right for me. I want a job so bad it's ridiculous. Y'all are going to see a lot less of me when this COVID crap ends and I get a job and I can actually work and afford to do stuff extra. Yeah. I like having a job. I like having something to do. Part of why I like sitting here with y'all. Lets me at least feel like I'm doing something. Maybe it's not something important, but at least it's something. Well, Scott, because I have psoriasis, in case y'all are looking that up, that starts with a P. But the basics of psoriasis are that you have an overactive immune system. So being that I have an overactive immune system and that I'm not going to stay sick even if I get sick, should I get COVID by going to the store to do the shopping or various other stuff that keeps the house going, then I'm not going to be sick for a long time, and I can quarantine here at the house, and it'll be something that, sort of kind of, well, it happened, but no big deal. But I can eliminate a lot of that by hand sanitizer and wearing a mask. And I know masks don't work, but they keep me from being able to touch something and then bite my nails, as I am prone to do. Yes, that's right, I bite my nails. So I'll end up with my hands in my damn mouth and end up getting sick because of that. So it is effective for me as long as I do all the right things. I wear the mask, I use the hand sanitizer. It's a lot of extra steps, but it's worth it to keep my family safe. So that's what I do. Coffee in a big honking mug and a sugar barrel and a corn cob type of day. Sounds pretty good. Howdy, Paul. Great to see you in today as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm some sort of like great guy doing what I'm doing. My wife and I talked it over. We decided that being that she was going to be allowed to work from home, that we could severely eliminate most of the issues by doing nothing more than me not having a job while this COVID stuff lasts. I mean, now as a boiler inspector, let me see, what would I be doing? I would be going and shaking hands and meeting with new people that I do not have the ability to control their life. 5 or 6 different people a day. Across the space of the year, that's about 4,000 people that I'm going to be talking to close up, shaking hands, and having conversations with, long drawn out conversations. Yeah, you know what? That's a lot of people to be in contact with. Whereas if I eliminate, well, let's say 390 or 3,990 of those people that I am going to have contact with, well, that's a whole lot less contact, and it's a whole lot easier for me to stay COVID free, or at least not to bring it home. You know what I'm saying. Howdy, Smoky Dan. Great to have you in as well, sir. Oh yeah, Scott. Believe me, I understand. I want a job so bad that, I mean, if it means I got to go down to one of these local garages and turn wrenches again, I mean, I'll do it. But I can't do it right now because it's keeping the family safe. And like I said, I can go to the store, pick up the groceries, do all that other stuff. But if I had a job, I wouldn't be available to do all of that. So then my wife and I are going to end up having to do that when more people are there, which, again, we are then compounding our amount of contact with people, which would be bad for her and my mother-in-law. No problem, Ron. I don't mind being the last on the list. Uh-oh, Smoky Dad's going to be in Ohio come, what was it, October, next October. Well, that's not too long away, bro. Dan, let's keep it safe out there, brothers. No big deal, just saying. If, you know that part where I say, hey, let's take care of ourselves and each other? Some of that is what I'm saying right there. You know, eliminating your possibilities of getting sick by doing things at an optimal time. Ah, 2022. Yeah, that changes things. That's not 1 month. That's a month and a year. Cool. So did y'all hear about the Big 12? Big 12 is going to lose Oklahoma and Texas. Awesome. So now they're looking at trying to pick up University of Central Florida, Cincinnati Bearcats, Brigham Young, yes, the Mormons, and University of Houston. A couple of years ago, they could have gotten University of Houston, and they decided to thumb their nose at the University of Houston because it was a big recruiting base for Texas A&M and for UT. Texas A&M went to the SEC. UT went to the SEC. OU went to the SEC. Big 12 was about to lose Houston entirely. Awesome. Yeah, guess who's going to be in the Big 12? Yeah. So yes, Big 12 was actually at 10 teams because Nebraska, and I forget there was an, oh yes, that's right. Nebraska and Texas A&M went to other conferences. Nebraska went to the Big 10, making sure that the Big 10 was at 12 teams, and Texas A&M went to the SEC, making sure that the Big 12 was at 10 teams, which is why I say college is for dummies. You've got leagues out there called the Big 10 with 12 teams, and leagues out there with 10 teams called the Big 12. It's no wonder college students are idiots. It's the big can't count. Not my fault. I didn't do this to them. They did it to themselves. Ganji, yes, I could avoid the long gaps in employment that some employers hate to see, but then again, I can just look at them and go, look, I had the opportunity to take care of the house from the home, and every job I've ever had has always been a whole lot of travel. So I took the opportunity, and then when COVID started, I stayed with it. Oh no, that's actually college. United States football. Yeah. Sorry for anybody overseas that remembers that football is what us Americans call soccer. And football is played with a ball that is about 1 foot long. Well, I just think it's funny that the Big 12 was out there having to run around like it's crazy. Well, Scott, which conference do you watch, brother? Oh, and by the way, while we're looking for the answer to that question, bowl call. What are you smoking? What are you smoking it in? Today I'm looking at getting pretty close to the end of Sutliff Match 20. Oh, small tear. Small tear. And in it, I am smoking, or that's what I'm smoking in it. And of course, this is just a country gentleman bent from Missouri Meerschaum. Well, Ron, yeah, the life of a boiler inspector is very much like that. Have gun, will travel. I've been to a lot of places that they kept wondering, how'd you even find us? You got a boiler. When you watched college ball, you watched the SEC. Biggest league, most championships. I can understand that. All right. Gwaithe Hogart, Bosun cut plug in a cob for Scott. Amphora, Kentucky in a cob that has forever stem that James sent you for Boris. Very nice. I like the forever stems. Virginia slices in a Ganjuana one-of-a-kind deer antler poker. By the way, just in case y'all are watching, those might not be so one-of-a-kind pretty soon, but you should probably be aware that the prices are going to be, at first, extremely reasonable. And if he takes my advice, eventually they are going to go up in price to the point where he gets pretty close to being unable to sell them anymore. He'll still sell them. They'll still sell quick. But it might not be as soon as the video that it's for sale goes live that somebody has already sat down and purchased it from him. You might actually end up with enough time to see it and go, oh, okay, I'll take it. Steph and Skip, howdy, sir and ma'am. Great to see both of y'all today. I'm sure it's both of you. Gaji, you're going to end up selling them. If you enjoy making them, and I've seen what they look like, they're going to sell. All you got to do is figure out your price point so that you're not going broke by making them. And then figure out how much you figure out you can raise them by. One of the key factors is if you post that it's for sale and the price tag, and within 24 hours it has sold, you have money in hand from that little video, then you are probably a little bit low on your price. If it takes more than a month to sell, you are probably a little bit high on your price. Just remember, if you're not trying to do it for price, figure out how fast you can sell them at whatever you feel is a decent price for the time and money you spent making them. And go with that. You don't have to price yourself out of business. But I wouldn't price them so cheap that you're going broke to do it. Just how it is. If you feel like giving them away to some people, just ask them to make some videos about how nice the pipe is after they've smoked a few bowls. So wow, 10 people in. Great to have y'all in today. Remember, Steve and Kathy will be missing today. They have stuff they've got to do. But John at All Briared Up is, of course, going to be in. Scott, that is very true. Look, if people are willing to pay $1,000 for me to flip a switch, shit, I'm all over it. And I'll laugh all the way to the bank. But if people think that I'm going to go and install a ceiling fan for $25, you either live somewhere in this neighborhood and you bought the ceiling fan after letting me instruct you which one and everything about it to purchase, or you're holding one of my family hostage at gunpoint. I mean, ceiling fans are not an easy thing to do. It's something that's easy for me because I've done a few thousand of them, but I'm I'm not installing a ceiling fan for 25 bucks. It's not happening. Friends and family, maybe we could talk. There might be trade that can be happening. Scott, ceiling fans are actually really easy. They just take time. The other side of it is they are very easy if you know what you're doing. If you don't actually know what you're doing, it could be deadly seriously crazy to do it wrong. I've done a few, like I said, a few thousand of them. I kind of know what I'm doing. 18 years as an electrician. Yeah, I might know a few things. Last one I installed for people I didn't know was quite a few years ago. Oh yeah, Scott. The price goes up during summer. It's 180 degrees up in your attic and you want me to install a ceiling fan? You do realize I'm going to have to be doing some work up there for about an hour, right? Because I'm not going to do something that's going to get you hurt. I'm going to do it so that if anybody was to ever look at it, they would immediately think that it was done by a professional electrician, probably installed at the time that the house was built. Smokey Dan, I have no idea how much I would pay for a hand-forged steel tamper. My problem with a hand-forged steel tamper is that A, I've got several, and B, when I was working on repairing some fences, I've got a crap ton of 4-inch deck screws, and those work great as a 4-inch steel tamper. But depending upon how nice they are, I mean, you got to look at how much is that pound of steel that you're pulling it from, and then how much time did you spend hammering that sucker out to make it something nice? I mean, if all you're doing is handing somebody a 10-cent 4-inch deck screw, I would say 12 cents. But if you're making something that's really an artisan piece of work, you're going to have to figure that price tag out on your own. Howdy, Mike. Great to see you, sir. Yes, Ron, that is very true. Not everything is always going to sell immediately because maybe it's a style that somebody's not really looking for, or maybe it's just wrong color, or maybe a lot of your regular customers are having to put it on the cheap for a while. Howdy, Chip. Great to have you in, sir. But, yeah, I've always said that if you can barely say this is for sale for, and you put a price tag behind it without somebody saying sold, then your prices are probably too low. And if you say, hey, this is for sale and this is the price, and it goes for months and you had 100 views, your price is too high. Now, if that's actually, I mean, if you're literally saying, look, I'm going broke to make this product at this price, then it's just not the right time to sell that product. Because obviously, nobody understands, nobody's going to make stuff just so that they can go broke making it. Doesn't matter how cheap you can get the material, if it's still too expensive for people, maybe they just don't understand that. I mean, I'm obviously not telling anybody the exact prices that they need to put on anything. But like a hobby block, okay, I can get a hobby block for about 25 bucks, right? Sure, great. And then I'm going to make the product into a pipe. And I've thought, you know what, if I'm going to do all that, I'm going to take whatever price I bought it at, I'm going to double that, and I'm going to set it out there for 50 bucks. And the reason I haven't done such yet is that I'm still doing a lot of experimentation on how to finish these pipes that I've made so that they don't bubble up and have bad, ugly spots on them, and what grit of sandpaper, how to make the stems just right. I'm doing some experimentation here. How many times can you smoke one before it starts having bad spots? There's a lot that's going into it for me. And I thought, you know what, if I'm going to take the time to do that, I'll probably throw them out there for about 50 bucks. It's just a hobby block. Of course, then again, if you can turn a hobby block into a decent looking pipe, and you can do it for less than 50 bucks, go for it. But I know what my price point's already going to be. And for anybody who's saying, oh, but you're trying to double up. Yeah, well, some of those blocks are 35, almost 40 bucks. Maybe I'm only going to make $10, and with the amount of hours I got to put into it, that's not like I'm going to make actually any kind of cash. Mike, very, very true. If something is completely craptastic, honestly, the seller should just not sell it. Wow, Ron, that's weird. I didn't do it. I swear to God I didn't do it. But Useless Tube is probably trying to screw with my audience, and I apologize for that. Want to know why I don't pay for Useless Tube? Because they do a lot of nefarious stuff. They put commercials on a lot of stuff that shouldn't have commercials on it anyways. I mean, go watch Matches 860. I bet you're going to come across some commercials. You think his widow is getting any of that money? Hell no. She ain't getting a dime of that. They're still putting commercials on his stuff, so they're still making money on his stuff. And then people like Ganji pay for premium so they don't have to watch the commercials. Well, they're making money on Ganji without having to pay the people back for the commercials that are being watched. they're not going to give him a cut if they're putting those commercials on his videos. Just say it. And y'all do realize that to be monetized, you have to have thousands and thousands of people watching your stuff on a regular basis. Otherwise, they're going to what? Cut you a nickel? I could leave my stuff up here for all time and they're still never going to pay me a dime. I already know that. Mike, while it would be a relief, you're making the guys at Google that much richer for nothing. Now I know it's the guys at Google that are fucking with me. That's all right. One's a Russian and one's a Michigander. Boris, I'd say that the price tag is still too much for me. Mostly because I ain't paying them a dime. They want to put this free product out there, great. They want to make money on it, I guess they can. They want to send me dirty letters telling me that my stuff's not suitable for commercials. Too damn bad. And I've told them that repeatedly. Oh, they not only said, oh, your stuff's going to get put on the always over 18 plus. And I said, great. It's already got a thing on there that says not suitable for people who are under 21 or are easily offended. What more do you want from me? I'm telling them right from the get-go, it's probably not for them. Oh, the guys at Google also pretty much don't care for my take on firearms, where I've said stuff like, arm all the women, watch the rate of rape go into the toilet, because guys don't want to get shot? Yeah, pretty much. Now, ladies, if y'all are out there and I happen to be wearing a firearm and you happen to be near me and somebody is trying to do something nefarious, if you pretty much you come up to me and you ask for my assistance, let's just say that the threat would be neutralized pretty well, and I can at least get you to someplace close to where there is a police presence so that it can't continue in any way, shape, or form. And that pretty much goes for everybody except for probably my ex-wife. She's only looking to get me in trouble, and just like she likes to do. So I pretty much wouldn't be for helping her. But it's because I'm not stupid. Okay, I would still help her if she really, really needed it. I'm not completely an asshole. I am an ass. Stamper Tamper, howdy sir. Great to have you on. I don't believe you've ever been here. hopefully I don't offend you too much on your first time. Well, Ron, you enjoy those pancakes. Luckily you didn't say waffles, or I'd say I'll be right there, sir. Not big on pancakes. I do like waffles. Don't understand it myself, but that's just the way it is. Ganji, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a good idea, and B, if a guy is nice about it, she ain't going to remember it. But when a guy is mean about it, women tend to remember. You don't believe me? Think about it. Women always have that thing for the bad guys. Oh, he, this, that, the other. They'll get into a relationship that's abusive and stay with it because they think that he's still got a good heart. And they will dump a nice guy in a heartbeat. Don't ask me. Other than most women will actually listen to that alpha male. Now, I'm not saying that's all they'll listen to. I'm not saying that you got to treat your wife or girlfriends mean. But watch how many guys, for whatever reason, I have no idea why, my theory on the alpha male is just a theory. Any of y'all know some women that have been abused? Ask them. Maybe they will tell you. Just don't believe that they're getting abused by me. I ain't for allowing that kind of crap around me. No, not a problem, Stamper. I just was thinking, God, I haven't seen you on here. Like, if it was not in a long time. But that's okay. It's not like I'm always someplace where somebody can find me easily or at a time slot where they can actually participate. I appreciate everybody showing up. As I've said before, y'all got billions of things you could be doing, and you chose to spend your time with me. That's awesome. Now, let me see. It is about 10 minutes until a certain person named John Ganji, I can understand that entirely as well. But strict and to the point is, well, with firearms, there's really no better way to learn that. I mean, let's just be honest. You're talking about something that can within seconds kill people. You can't play with firearms. They are not a play toy. They are a tool. There's only one tool that men should be playing with. You're allowed to figure that out for yourself. But Martin was telling jokes about it, about 2 weeks ago. You know, he was telling so many jokes about it, he almost had a stroke. True, Mike. Very true. And a lot of people have often enough said that I am unpleasant. I'm okay with that. Oh, so hey, before we get crazy and get thrown out of here by me, whenever John comes on, James, also known as Dingus McSwine II, he's going to be on today, let's call it about 3.5 hours from now. Howdy, Greg. Great to see you, sir. Greg, love those Bic clip pipe tools. That's an awesome idea. I get out to your neck of the woods, I'm going to be looking you up. We'll have to figure out something we can trade. I'm not worried about it. Just saying. And in case y'all are really watching, right after Dingus McSwine II, aka James, that's when Jose Manuel Cavendish comes on. If you've been missing his show, you've been missing a lot. Especially if you don't know how good of an artist he is. Any of y'all seen some of the stuff that he calls doodles that I'm like, I wish I could actually draw that well. It's ridiculous good. You'll just have to trust me and watch some of his videos. But both of those are going to be live today, right? Not right after John, but John will be going live here in just a little bit. Of course, that explains the name. Hey, not a problem, Greg. I just thought it was a really cool idea. It keeps everything right there. One thing you need to have. It does all the 4 things that you really need, plus it has a way to open a beer. I don't know why I would love things that open beers. Leatherman? Bet you I can open a beer with that. Regular Gerber clip knife? I know I can open a beer with that. Different Gerber multi-tool? Yeah, I know I can open a beer with that. I bet you I got another knife on me somewhere too. In case y'all are wondering, normally I don't actually carry this unless I'm working, but I was working this morning and I didn't put it back where it's safe. Jose, too bad you just missed it. We were talking good stuff about you, sir. And I mean it. We were actually, I was at least talking good stuff about you. I mean, especially your drawings and your doodles and stuff. The stuff you call doodles that I wish I could draw that well. It's ridiculous. I don't know, Greg, but if there's something bad about a tool that can open a beer, I don't want to know about it. Howdy, Todd. Oh, come on, Jose. That's not why your ears were red. It was those habaneros and serranos you were eating. We know. We know. It's just like being worried that Boris had 4 hours of sleep at night. End of the world. Times are short. So, does anybody have anything going on that they need either some extra knowledge about, prayers for? Y'all got some care and concern issues that you need people to think about for you? One of those things, of course, is remember everybody that was in the path of Ida, all the way from Louisiana, all the way up through New York. People got hit hard with this thing. It moved fast, but it dumped a shit ton of rain. And there's a lot of people in Louisiana that are still without power. I don't know how far north that trend goes, but keep those people in your thoughts. They could need it. Yes, sir, Greg. You take care. We'd love to see you again. Remember, if you're thinking about getting back on here in a little bit for Steve and Kathy, it'll be at John's All Briared Up channel, because that's who's filling in for Steve and Kathy. So just take care, sir. Okay, so Todd needs some prayers because they can't find a place. All right, let's make sure that happens if we can. See you, Scott. You take care. It's great having you in today. Remember, we're about 2 minutes out. If y'all will let us know that there's some issues out there that y'all need us to think on for you, I'm sure there's a whole lot of YTPC members that will help you out some way or shape or form. Even if it's only sending prayers. I mean, sometimes prayer does work. Ed, as per always, I mean, here I am 2 minutes out. So let's do this. Let's make it official. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been so great to have y'all in. What did you miss? Martin, you missed it all. You missed it all. African jazz, that sounds fun. Pretty much, Martin, yes, you missed almost all of it. I don't know if I have any sound bites that you need to check out. Not my fault. But we are going to be going over to All Briared's Up here in a minute. So remember, first of all, thank y'all for being here. It was so fun having y'all around. I really appreciate it. Y'all keep me somewhat sane than I would be without you. Of course, that's bad. It's very bad. And so just remember, y'all take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can on that. I'm not asking you to kill yourself trying to help other people out, but you know, if we can help, let us know what we can do, and maybe things can happen. And of course, as always, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. John should be on, well, now. I don't have him showing up yet, but just make sure to jump over as soon as he's available to you. And I might have to go looking on a different media device because this tablet is old and not working well. Alright, so y'all take care, and I will see you over on John's channel here in just a minute, whenever he gets up and running. Talk to you soon. And bye for now.